Well, here's another dark video, guys. We're getting close to August 1st in a mere hour or two. It's only 9:56 at night, 31st of July, 2025. And already, there's a dateline looming in August 1st coming up, which tariffs are supposed to be in place. Now, concerning about tariffs, I'm trying to understand where it's supposed to be generated. It's not supposed to be generated by the executive branch. It's supposed to have been generated through Congress. Unfortunately, we've got a president who keeps sinking judicial law under his brand, under his belt, controlling the law under his belt, making laws under his belt, making budgets under his belt, violating every balance and check he's got, and to make sure that he's the ultimate authority. I know our Constitution had to go through revisions left and right before it got presented to the original colonies. And then after that, it was just widely accepted, amended. A lot of things changed on there because of the amendment process. Well, we have an executive branch who wants to do changes to the Constitution just by executive orders, and that's how it's done, not just by president, but how the mechanism works. We have an administration trying to fire the Fed chief. Fed doesn't want to raise or lower, he just wants to maintain the status credit rating. He doesn't want to screw up anything, but Trump wants lower. He thinks he's trying to help the low and middle income? No, he's helping at the higher income at this point, paying lower taxes. Doesn't want people to borrow heavily. But unfortunately, we're having a higher inflation rate because of the damn tariffs that the executive branch keeps trying to throw out. But they're not the ones that's supposed to be in charge of the damn tariffs. It's supposed to be Congress. Congress can't get up their dead asses to do this kind of shit. And if we got an executive branch negotiating for trade deals, it's supposed to be going through the executive branch, not the... Actually, it's supposed to be going through the legislative, not the executive. And from what I've been trying to gather, it takes years to get trade deals going. Back, away from the spotlight, negotiations, meetings. Why not just saying that we're going to have this fantastic trade deal and it's going to happen right now? And from what I'm hearing from the financial experts out there and people dealing with negotiating trade, they're saying there's no mechanism. For what Trump's trying to do to people left and right, there's no mechanism. He said, and that's what's going to be. I mean, that's how it's going to be without the mechanism. We're already having other countries having issues with their own supplies being exported to the United States that we use and depend upon. I came across an article that was a bit nerve-wracking. I used to work for this one company, this one company that dealt with building and lumber and manufacturing. Decades ago, dealt with the real estate market. We dealt with commercial properties and private properties, and we had a satellite office out here in San Fernando Valley until it got shaken apart and then rebuilt after the '94 earthquake. And they stayed in operations for a few more years, but they shut down operations finally out here in California and moved and got reabsorbed somehow. I was only part of it for a few months. I was there for maybe all the way up until May, and then got terminated. No, it didn't get terminated. It got laid off. There were going through cutbacks during that time. And last one hired, first one fired. That's all right. Didn't have any complaints about the job anyway. But I mean, I needed to learn more skills out there. I'll bet it may be about 10 years old, but still, I was learning some skills out there. Well, Weyerhaeuser Lumber deals with the Canadian supply up there. And because of what Trump's been doing with the trade war he's got going on with this tariff crap, scaring the daylights out of people, he's basically turning our economy and everybody else's economy into scratching their heads. So, I have no clue what the Trump administration is supposed to be doing. They're supposed to be managing a country? Or are they trying to destroy everything at the same time while trying to grift left and right? Or by the way, here's a new Trump item. Here, I got over here a new Trump scam here that you need to pay into at this point. And by the way, we're making trillions of dollars out of the tariffs by leaking it and seeking it and then sucking it dry out of the Americans' pocketbooks. Sorry, but our tax situation is that I get your money, you don't get a damn dime. Deal with it. Meanwhile, every ugly damn thing's happening in this particular administration. It's no wonder that town halls coming out there. The Republicans are avoiding their town halls while the Democrats are going into the GOP town hall, so let them know what's going on. In the hopes to win a few votes. California is thinking about redistricting again. But this time they're not planning on illegal gerrymandering like Texas is doing, just so they can keep their butts in the seats of the Congress as a majority. Trying to phase out Democrats altogether. Yeah, and the people are still being pissed off about it in Texas about that one. And in California, how does California feel that if we are going to be doing some redistricting, are we going to be doing the illegal or are we going to be doing it by the book? Because Newsom had spoken to some Texas lawmakers about this. I don't know, has he ever done a news article? Actually, I haven't caught it and I hadn't seen it yet, but it's probably out there somewhere. Dan Newsom's trying to talk to the state of California and the people here. Now, I have to admit that over the past decade and a half, and maybe a little bit more, some people actually didn't like Newsom. And while we had the COVID situation happening during that time, this was hard because it was felt that Gavin Newsom already had his own private enterprise, his own company out there, and they felt he was sucking up a lot of resources. He was taking more advantages than anybody else, and I don't know if I can confirm it or not. The stories are still out there. Maybe he did. They said that he actually had something out in Napa Valley in California. Okay, so how does that affect me out here? I'm living here in Roseman, California, in Trump territory, Kern County. And nobody over here likes nobody likes Newsom. They still wanted somebody else to take over. There's been about 2 to 3 recall elections. Didn't happen. But Newsom's coming up on his final. You've got a lot of contenders out there trying to get to his job. And Newsom's doing everything he can as the TikTok keeps coming down for him to do his job in the state of California. And after we get into the election in the midterms next year, we'll be voting for another governor. Now we already have the high-speed rail already defunded by federal. So I'm not quite sure if we're going to get any more federal money. We get the state of California suing for that. Let's see what happens. And there have been other videos and other uglier, darker videos that have been talking stuff out of, because we're dealing with an uglier, darker time. And how we're going to deal with that is up to each and every one of us in the state of California. Everybody else in the world, I don't know what you're going to do or say about California, except we're here, you're not. And that being said, guys,